everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Guys, this is such an exciting video for me. This is my 2K Q&A and giveaway. I passed 2K about a week ago now, and you guys have been so phenomenal. I could continue to gush on and on and on about all of you, and I cannot believe that I have over 2,000 book-loving, amazingly supportive and involved friends that are watching my videos and commenting and leaving me such love. It has been one of the most amazing parts of my 2016. To think that I didn't even know booktube was a thing until late August, early September, and then I started my booktube channel a week and a half, 2 weeks after discovering that booktube was even a thing. I will get to the giveaway and all of the information about that at the end, but first is the Q&A, and I have to say thank you as well. I got so many questions, and unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to get to all the questions, but I'm gonna get to absolutely as many as I can and still keep this a reasonable length. So let's get into the Q&A, and then we'll get into the giveaway at the end of the video. First up was Christina Oates, and she asked, what book world would I want to live in? And that's very, very hard for me to answer because a lot of what I read is fantasy. Those worlds are terrifying a lot of the times. There's these crazy villains and this great evil, and it's usually in conflict and battle, and I don't want to live in any of that. Our world is scary enough. So if I could say post end of Sauron, Lord of the Rings, and I could just live in Rivendell with the elves, that would be great. Or like post Voldemort Harry Potter, that would be fine with me. But seeing as I think that might be cheating, I'll stick with us, I guess. I'll stick with ours. Paige Turner Book Review asked if I could hang out with one fictional character for a whole day, who would I hang out with? And I thought about this for a really long time, and I'm gonna be like a little cheesy about it, but I would hang out with Belle from Beauty and the Beast all day long. I would hang out in Beast's library with her, probably film a couple booktube videos, do a couple collab videos with her, revel in that amazing library, and have Mrs. Potts and Chip bring us tea. That's where I would be, hanging out all day long. Christine Jackson asked if I've ever read The Mortal Instruments, and if so, who was my favorite character? I have read The Mortal Instruments. I have not finished the series. I actually gave up on it. It was so long ago that I read them, but I am currently reading The Infernal Devices, and then I might give Lady Midnight a try. But I would say from the Mortal Instruments series and any series that I've read of Cassandra Clare so far, I love Magnus Bane. Multiple people ask this, but what do I do with the books that I have read but didn't like? I do have a book unhaul that I will be filming tonight as well. What I've decided to do, because I have very limited bookshelf space and I'm trying to live as uncluttered as possible, anything I read that was under a 3-star that I feel like I will never reread, I am either letting friends and family go through first, and if there's anything in there that they want and they want to read, I let them take it and they can pass it around to their friends after that or do whatever they want with the books. Anything else after that, I will be taking to secondhand bookstores, selling it back for store credit, and then I can get more books to read and review for you guys. Then I had Amber McManus, who's one of my old school blogger friends from when I was blogging about 6 years ago, and she's continued to follow me at my makeup channel. She asked me what my Hogwarts house was, my Ilvermorny house was. Forever ago, I took the test and I didn't have my password. I couldn't get into all my information. So I just started a new account and I retook my tests today, and I feel like they were way more accurate. So I was sorted into Ravenclaw, which makes so much more sense to me than Gryffindor, which is where I was originally placed, because I am incredibly more Ravenclaw than Gryffindor. So Ravenclaws, if you don't know, which how could you not, are intelligent and wise and witty and independent. I'm absolutely a Ravenclaw. Luna and I would have been best friends. Then for Ilvermorny, I was sorted into the Horned Serpent, which sounded really terrifying. I don't know anything about the Ilvermorny houses, so I immediately went to like find out as much as I could about this house because it sounded pretty Slytherin-y, which I'm not. And then they had next to no information on the website about what the houses actually represented, but they said that it was representative of the mind and that a lot of the scholars were placed in that house. So the Ravenclaw and the Horned Serpent seem like they're pretty similar, so that makes sense to me, I suppose. The Pussycat Cafe 66 asked me if I ever feel like I am missing out on social events, parties, etc. in order to stay home and read. And the answer is no. I mean, sometimes I am missing out on those things, but it's always voluntarily, and I never feel bad about missing out on something in order to stay home and read. I really do need my alone me time to recharge, especially after the end of like a hectic week. I'll spend a Friday night in, and then I'll spend the rest of the weekend going out and doing other things. I try to balance everything as well as possible. If there's ever a time that I miss a social event because I need to stay home and just decompress and read, then that's what I need for my own self-care, and I never feel bad about that. Alex Anderson asked how I get through so many big books and how I get through so many books in general. And I did get that question a lot, especially with my November wrap-up and how many books I read, because if you did not see it, I'll link it up above. I read 20 books in November. One, I have discovered audiobooks, and they are a lifesaver. I spend a lot of the time in my car, I spend a lot of my time running errands, and I do have a commute to and from work, and so I'm listening to books while I'm doing all of those things. And I do typically listen to my audiobooks at 1.6 speed, so it goes through it a little bit quicker. Also, I just happen to be a pretty fast reader is what I'm learning, so I guess that helps as well. As far as big books go, I have found that I really enjoy listening to it in audio version while I'm in the car doing other things, and then having a physical version to just cuddle in with at night and pick up there in the physical form, and I find that that helps me get through the larger books. Raw Books asked me if I could change any one thing about a plot or a storyline of a book, what would I choose? It's a Harry Potter spoiler, so if you've not finished the Harry Potter series and you haven't watched the movies, I don't know how that's possible. Just mute the screen until I put my hand down. I'll put my hand up, and when I put my hand down, you're safe. I don't know who you are though, so comment down below if you actually had to mute for this, because I'm worried about you. Okay, I decided that for me personally, I would have changed Sirius Black dying. And I know that's a very big plot point in the books, and it's something that really helped Harry develop as a character and move forward in his determination. However, the kid had been through enough, and I really think it would have been interesting to see how he would have grown emotionally and how he would have handled the rest of the series, as well as his life after Voldemort was gone, if Sirius had been around to give him a home and to give him a family, and he had that paternal influence again. I know he got it in other places, but I just would have loved to have seen who he could have become and how that relationship evolved if Sirius was still in his life, because it had such potential going into his passing for just like one of the sweetest relationships to build there. So for me, if I could, I think that's what I would like to see play out. All right, welcome back. Now I have Amanda. Amanda Williams asked me if I read every page or if I skim. And the answer is yes. I will skim pages in one of two instances. One, it's a multiple point of view book and I can't stand one of the point of views. If that happens, and it did for some of the George R.R. Martin Game of Thrones books, some of the storylines I just didn't care about. I could not for the life of me find it in me to care. And those I would skim through. I would still read them, but I realized that I was skimming more than actually reading because I just wanted to be done with it. The other thing is I will sometimes skim if there are just giant chunks of text without any dialogue. For me, having been an editor and working in online content and just content in general, I cannot stand when there are giant chunks of text with nothing breaking it up. It's very straining on the eye for a reader. It's a giant pet peeve of mine, and I will find myself skimming through those paragraphs because it just drives me bananas. Kelly with an EY asked me how I decide whether I listen to the audiobook or read the physical book. So one of two things will happen. I will have a really, really large book that I think I'll get through quicker if I listen to it and read it together, which I've already talked about. A lot of the times too, I will just scroll through what is available currently in audio format from my library. And if it's something that was already on my TBR or on my Goodreads to read list, I'll just go ahead and ask for it. Oh, And if somebody says, it took me about 200 pages to get into this book and then it was great, I'll probably just listen to it because it's easier to engage me listening than sitting down to physically read those first 200 pages. Jiggly782 asked me my favorite villain or anti-hero, and for that I have to say the entire Six of Crows cast. So all 6 of them, the dregs, are fantastically written, not villains, but definitely anti-heroes. And they are just beautifully gray and they're amazing and endearing and they're my babies and I love them. And you can see more about that in my Crooked Kingdom wrap up. I love those books. I love them. I love them. I love them. Also, am I interested in any translated fiction? And I'm not interested in translated fiction, but I think the only translated fiction that I've ever experienced is the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. I did read all of those. I believe they were translated from a different language first. I don't know, I forget what language it was. So yeah, I'm not against it. If you have any suggestions or recommendations for translated fiction, you can go ahead and leave them down below. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't think I've actively sought it out. Scarlet Lifestyle asked me what my least favorite book is, and I'm gonna do an entire unpopular opinion book tag, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but obviously Uprooted, we've talked about that a couple times. I just don't like that book. I also really didn't like Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl. I hated it. I really did. I don't like unreliable narrators. It's one of the reasons that Girl on a Train kind of annoyed me. It's a reason that Mara Dyer kind of annoys me. Shannon asked me if I could go to a dinner party or host a dinner party with 3 fictional characters, who would I want to be there? And again, I will stress that I'm a Ravenclaw and apparently a horned serpent, and I'm very intellectual and I value knowledge and I want to be around people that I can learn from. So I picked Gandalf, Dumbledore, and Aiden from Illuminae and Gemina, because Aiden, if you don't know, is an artificial intelligence system, so he knows everything. Between the 3 of them, I'm gonna have the most engaging conversation ever, and I think Dumbledore would just add such like a sweet grandfatherly spin on things, and I think that Gandalf and Dumbledore's sense of humor together could be hilarious to be around, especially if Aiden's dry sense of humor and like inability to understand sarcasm and turn of words was thrown in with the 2 of them. I just think it could be so entertaining. A lot of people ask me the genre that I'm drawn to and genres that I just don't do. I don't think it's any surprise, guys. I love YA fantasy and I like high fantasy. I like magical realism. I like paranormal. I like urban fantasy. What I don't really go for very often at all within the YA genre is contemporary. I don't particularly find myself drawn to it. I'll still read some of those though. What I will never read is horror. I'm a big baby and I can't do it. So I don't really get into like the thriller horror genre. Kelly Shirley asked me if there was one book that described my life, what would it be? And again, that's very hard for me because a lot of the books that I read are fantasy. So none of them really describe my life. Facetiously, I will say, Are You There, Vodka? It's Me, Chelsea by Chelsea Handler, because I love her sense of humor. She's a Jersey girl and I could relate to a lot of the stuff that she said in that book, and vodka was kind of my thing when I was in college, so I'll run with it. And then I had a question, and I forget who asked it, and that was, what do I enjoy filming more? My book videos or my makeup videos? So which one's easier for me to film? And which ones do I enjoy more? And I love them both. In terms of what I enjoy making most and what's easiest to make for me video-wise, content-wise, it's definitely this channel, because this is my niche. This is my home. This is where I know I'm strong. So it's easier for me to make them here as opposed to over there. Again, because I'm not an expert, which a lot of people appreciate that viewpoint. However, for that particular market on YouTube, I'm definitely not the go-to source. So that channel is a lot slower to build. I still love making them over there, but this is the channel that I really find that I enjoy putting most of my time and attention into lately. Amanda Williams asked me, what kind of books do I write? In high school, I wrote almost an entire novel, and it was a YA thriller. I found it recently in my parents' attic and threw it away because it was so bad. The book that I published, Shoot Down the Wendy Bird, is back there. That is flash fiction, short stories, and poetry, which I just wrote while I was an entrepreneur. I had a business. I needed a creative outlet from my structured article writing. So that's what I kind of used for that because I didn't have time for full-length novels. I am working on and hope to eventually someday maybe complete a YA fantasy / paranormal trilogy. I have a trilogy right now outlined. I don't know what's ever going to happen with that. I've worked on the first book so far. I do have an outline for books 2 and 3 that's pretty rough. I have not really found myself sitting down to do intense amounts of writing. I'm consciously going to try to make more time for that in 2017. Lawrence asked me if this was my full-time job, if not, what my full-time job was. No, this is not my full-time job. This is just a hobby that I really, really enjoy, but my full-time job is that I am a nanny. I have been with the same family of 4 children for the last 9 years. The oldest is 16, 14, 12, and 9, and the kids are fantastic. The family is great. Absolutely love working for them. So another reason why I can read so much in a month is because I have a large chunk of my day now. All those kids are in school. So if I'm doing grocery shopping or straightening up around the house or doing errands for them, I'm able to either listen in the car or listen while I'm doing those things around the house. Carly wanted to know, what do I do besides read? I do makeup videos and a lot of things that are makeup related. I hang out with my family, my friends. I'm really lucky. My family all lives very close to me. My parents live close to me. I've got 3 younger sisters and they all live close to me. My nieces and nephews are around. So we do a lot of family stuff. I do a lot of stuff with my friends. I absolutely love music, going to concerts. I'm addicted to sci-fi movies, but like the bad sci-fi channel movies, not like actually science fiction, like SY, FY, horrible sci-fi movies like Piranaconda. Addicted. Lucifer's daughter asked me what my favorite TV shows were. I don't watch very much television at all. If I'm watching TV, I'm watching a Flyers game. Do enjoy and religiously watch The Walking Dead. I will watch Once Upon a Time. Was super addicted to How to Get Away with Murder, and then I've not kept up with that series, and I want to though. Color Me Random asked me what made me choose this color for my hair. My hair is naturally very, very dark brown. I had that crazy curly hair. I can't really cut it short because then it would like curl up and out and go crazy. I couldn't do bangs because again, they would just curl up and look insane. So there wasn't a whole lot I could do by way of changing my hair. So I figured color was the easiest way for me to do that. So I started off originally with just streaks of teal. So I did different chunks that I bleached and I did them teal. And then I realized the streaks weren't quite enough. I wanted to do something a little bit more bold and I went fire engine red. If I have a picture from Instagram, I'll insert it here because it was kind of awesome. I actually really, really enjoyed it red, but it looked like I had murdered somebody every time I showered. The red just did not want to stay in my hair, and me with orange hair, not cute. I went to like an ombre sunset. That was absolutely horrendous to try to upkeep. So for the last 2 years, I've been this shade of purple and I love it. But the one downside, I don't know if you can tell, my hands are purple because I touched this up last night. I redid my roots. Looks like I'm either suffering from like circulation problems or I made hand love to a Smurf. That's everything. Thank you to everybody who left a question. It really means the world to me. I had so much fun answering these for you. Thank you so, so much for all you've done to help me grow this channel. It's time for the giveaway, guys. I've come up with something that makes me genuinely happy. First, let me tell you the official rules. 1, you need to be a subscriber to this channel. All the other secondary things to that will be in the Rafflecopter, and the Rafflecopter will be linked down below. The Rafflecopter will be taking place at my website. Also go to my Goodreads page and my website updates there too. So you can find it at my Goodreads page and you can find it at my website, but they'll both be linked down below. You need to be subscribed to me. After that, everything is optional, but you can follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow me at Goodreads. You can tweet about it. All of those will get you extra entries. I didn't want to make it mandatory because I know not everybody has certain social media, but I would really, really love it if you guys followed me on Instagram. I do all of my daily vlogging for reading every day on my Instagram stories. So you can follow me there and you can get my reading updates for my readathons, any challenges, my TBR updates. Every day I put something up there bookish. I let you guys know my progress on a book, my thoughts on a book. If you can, I'd really, really like if you followed me there. I have picked my top 10 books for 2016. The top 10 books that I really, really loved. I went through my Goodreads, picked out my 5 and 4-star reads that were specifically from this year that I thought represented a variety of different kinds of books. From those top 10 books, I will let you choose 2 books and I will send them off to you. So I want to share my love of reading, but I also want to share some of my favorite books with you. So you get to pick 2 of the books on my top 10 and I will ship them directly to your doorstep. And there will be 3 winners for this. So 3 subscribers drawn at random through Rafflecopter will get 2 of my favorite books sent to them of their choosing from my top 10. Let's get into the top 10 books for 2016 because this is what you can pick from. Isn't that exciting? They're all going to be listed down below too though. First and second is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I love them. I love them. I love them. If you haven't read them already, there's no excuse. I want you to, so you can pick both of them. They have a box set available now. I will ship that box set directly to you. The third book is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. Guys, this book was so amazing. I loved it so much. That's by Leslie Walton, and I want everybody to be able to experience it and hopefully love it as much as I do. So that's book 3. Book 4 is a recent read that I haven't actually talked about on my channel yet because it is a part of my December wrap up, and that is More Happy Than Not by Silvera. I have a full review up for that on Goodreads if you're interested in hearing my thoughts prior to my wrap up. However, I cried a whole lot. It was a beautiful book. Number 5 was We Were Liars by Lockhart. That's a book that I read really early, or not early, but earlier in 2016. I haven't talked about it on the channel very much, but it's one that definitely stuck with me, and I thought it was pretty amazing, pretty touching, and I figured I would share that with you guys if you haven't read it already and you were interested in it. The next one is Illuminae and Gemina. Again, if you guys have not read these, you have to. I just loved them. I didn't think I was going to. I thought I was going to hate them. I talk about it in my November wrap up. Trust me, they're great. So if you've read one, not the other, well, you probably read Illuminae, not Gemina. So if you wanted that, I could send you that. If they want both of them, I can send you both of them. The next one is The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner, and that book, oh my gosh, guys. It was a premise that I wasn't really sure I was going to enjoy. It was about a son of a Pentecostal preacher who worships serpents. They would get bit by serpents and poisonous snakes to prove their faithfulness to God. I thought it was just going to be not my thing. And the book was absolutely phenomenal, and I think you should read it. And then I picked My Lady Jane, and that is by Brody Ashton, Cynthia Hand, and Jody Meadows. And that was just such a fun historical fiction, YA, magical realism fantasy book. It was really cool. It was really different. I mentioned that in my November wrap up as well, so you can check out a little bit more about it there. But I just thought it was such a fun book, so it's a little bit more lighthearted than a lot of these other books, and I thought that might be a fun one to add to the list. I'm also adding an adult contemporary, and that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. All the feels. Just all of them. I'm not going to tell you anything else about it at all because I think you should go into it not knowing anything. So those were my top 10 books of 2016 to date that I figured were a diverse collection that I could offer to you guys and that you could pick from if you win. So again, 3 winners, lots of different ways that you can enter, and the giveaway will be open from the 12th, which is the day that this video goes live, up until the end of the day on the 23rd. After that, I will pick a winner. I will announce it the day after Christmas. I'll put up a video. I'll announce who won. I will be messaging through YouTube any of the 3 winners, and you will have 24 hours to get back to me and let me know which books you want to have sent to you and provide your address. If I don't hear back from you, I will go on to the next person. That is my 2K Q&A and giveaway. Guys, I'm so excited to be able to gift you 2 of my favorite books of the year of your choosing. Be sure to give this video a big old thumbs up. Click subscribe, obviously, because you need to for the giveaway. Everything's going to be linked down below. I will have everything that you need. If you have any questions, just comment and let me know. I really look forward to gifting you guys a little bit back because you've given me so much just with your support and kind words and just being a part of my booktube bookish friends. I'm so happy to be doing this. That's everything. Thank you to everybody who supplied a question and who has been supportive and engaging up until now. I look forward to see what comes next. I will see all of you in my next video.